Robert Service's The Shooting of Dan McGrew. A bunch of the boys were whooping it up in the Malamute Saloon, and the kid that handled the music box was playing a jagtime tune. Back of the bar in a solo game sat Dangerous Dan McGrew, and watching his luck was his light of love, the lady that's known as Lou. When out of the night, which was 50 below, and into the din and the glare, there stumbled a miner fresh from the creeks, dogged, dirty and loaded for bear. He looked like a man with one foot in the grave and scarcely the strength of a louse, but he tilted a poke of gold on the bar and called for drinks for the house. There was none could place the stranger's face, though he searched ourselves for a clue. But we drank his health, and the last to drink was Dangerous Dan McGrew. There are some men can grip your eyes and hold 'em hard like a spell, and such was he. And he looked to me like a man who'd lived through hell, with a face most hair, and the dreary stare of a dog whose day is done. He watered the green stuff into his glass, and the drops fell one by one. Then I got to figuring who he was and wondering what he'd do. I turned my head, and there watching him was the lady that's known as Lou. Then his eyes went rubbering round the room, and he seemed in a kind of daze, till at last that old piano fell in the way of his wandering gaze. The ragtime kid was having a drink. There was no one else at the stool. So the stranger stumbles across the room and flops down there like a fool. In a buckskin shirt that was glazed with dirty satin, I saw him sway. He gripped the keys with his taloned hands. Oh my God, that man could play. Were you ever out in the great alone when the moon was awful clear, and the icy mountains hemmed you in with a silence you scarce could hear, and only the cry of a timber wolf, and you camped there in the cold, a half-dead thing in a stark dead world, clear mad for the muck called gold, while high overhead, green, yellow, and red, the north lights stripe and bars? Then you've a hunch what that music meant. Hunger night in the stars. And hunger not of the belly kind that's banished with bacon and beans, but the gnawing hunger of lonely men for a home and all that it means. For a fireside far from the things that are, four walls and the roof above, but oh so crammed full of cozy joy, and crowned with a woman's love. A woman dearer by far, as true as the heaven is true. Oh God, how ghastly she looks through her rouge, the lady that's known as Lou. Then of a sudden the music changed, so soft that you scarce could hear, but you felt that your soul had been looted clean of all that it once held dear. That someone had stolen the woman you love, her love was a devil's lie, that your guts were gone and the best for you was to crawl away and die. It was the crowning cry of a heart's despair, and it thrilled you through and through. I guess I'll make it a lay down misere, said Dangerous Dan McGrew. Then the stranger turned, and his eyes, they burned in a most peculiar way. In a buckskin shirt that was glazed with dirt, he sat and I saw him sway. His lips went in a kind of grin. He spoke and his voice was calm. And boys, said he, you don't know me and none of you cares a damn. But I'm here to state my words are straight, and I'll bet my poke they're true. One of you here is a son of a bitch, and that one is Dan McGrew. I ducked my head, the lights went out, two guns blazed in the dark. The lights went up, a woman screamed, two men lay stiff and stark. Pitched on his head, pumped full of lead, lay Dangerous Dan McGrew, while the man from the creeks lay clutched to the breast of the lady that's known as Lou. These are the simple facts of the case, and I guess I ought to know. They say that the stranger was crazed with hooch, and I'm not denying it so. I'm not so wise, as the lawyer guys. But strictly between us two, the woman that kissed him and pinched his poke was the lady that's known as Lou.